Alright, so in my last video I spoke about how k.a.t was recently updated, and although nothing in the game was actually changed, the update was important because it didn't come from FIERZAA'S main account since she hadn't logged in since March. This update was important because up until that point, basically everybody believed that only FIERZAA could update the game from her main account and that nobody else had access to even be able to update the game. This resulted in many people coming up with theories as to who they think updated the game, and in my video I went over the two main ideas. One was that the update was published by some developer of the game, and the other idea was that it was published by FIERZAA on a secret alt account. After I had posted my video, I ended up hearing information about a quite unknown Roblox account that is pretty much guaranteed to be an alt of FIERZAA. Then, me and my friend did some digging, and we ended up finding another account that we believe is another alt of FIERZAA that basically nobody else knows about. Not only was the fact that these accounts exist in the first place super interesting, but some of the information that you can find from these accounts is not what you might expect. And what's even crazier is what you can find in the games that are owned by the accounts. This video is really cool. I spent quite a bit of time researching and putting it together, so I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like on this video to support me, my channel, and future videos like this one. With all that being said, let's get straight into it. Almost immediately after posting my video, I received a DM from a friend who told me that FIERZAA does have alt accounts. He told me that one of them is an account by the name MoeShopp and that the account is an admin in k.a.t. This was the first time that I had ever heard of MoeShopp, so I went to the profile and found the first interesting detail. At the time, the account was last online 2 months ago, and that was on August 6th. As of the time I am recording this video, August the 19th, the account was last online less than a week ago. This means that this alt of FIERZAA is still active, all while FIERZAA's main account has been left completely untouched since March of this year. The next thing I noticed was the experience or game listed on the account, titled k.a.t. 2 Test. The description reads, "Developing on an alt because banned." I actually like this more, it's more peaceful. Now, before I even go to enter the game, there is quite a bit to unpack here. The first thing is that the title clearly refers to an actual sequel to k.a.t. appropriately titled k.a.t. 2. This isn't actually the first time that I had heard of k.a.t. 2. If you go to an early archive of FIERZAA's Roblox profile from August of 2017, you will see that she mentions that she was working on k.a.t. 2 at the time. I think that it is safe to say that k.a.t. 2 has become a cancelled project. There hasn't been any mention of a k.a.t. sequel for years, and even this game itself hasn't been updated in over 5 years. I don't think that we will ever see an official k.a.t. 2 be released, but you never know. In the description, she mentions that she was using the alt to develop k.a.t. 2 because her main was temporarily banned. This confirms that FIERZAA has developed k.a.t. on an alt before, and has done so as early as 5 years ago. The game sits with under 200 visits at the time of me recording this, and when you join, you are placed in a lobby area. From what I've seen, the game only has one map, but the game is so old that nothing seems to be working correctly. It was also clearly left in an unfinished state, so maybe it never worked correctly in the first place. The only map in the game, known as Mad Motel, originates from Mad Games. I used to play Mad Games before I started playing k.a.t, and there is a whole story about how I got into k.a.t because of Mad Games, but that story could be saved for a separate video. The map is still cool to explore, and it is littered with Easter eggs that you can still find, but apart from that, there is not much else to see here. There is another game on the account titled Yes, with just over 100 visits. This game contains what seems to be an earlier, modified copy of k.a.t, or another prototype for a k.a.t sequel. There isn't much context to work with to determine what exactly the purpose of this game is or was. You play on the Castle 2 map and it is very clearly different from modern day k.a.t. Being last updated 4 years ago, the game obviously predates trading, and so there is no such feature in the game. It also still has the old top 100 leaderboard from back in the day, but I don't remember the inventory ever looking like this. It is clear that the biggest difference in this game compared to the current version of k.a.t is the inventory and shop. You can also equip an automatic rifle instead of a revolver? That sums up what I could find from the account MoeShopp, but that isn't all I have for this video. MoeShopp was the most well-known alt of FIERZAA. The games had a couple hundred visits combined, which is still very little when you understand that these are actual k.a.t test places, but it is still a lot compared to what me and my friend found next. We did more digging and found another account which we believe is very likely another alt of FIERZAA. This account, OVVSLA, is probably known by less than 30 people. At the time of us finding the account, it was last online a month ago, but today it was last online just yesterday. There are a couple factors which lead me to believe that the account is an alt, so I'll go over them quickly. The first thing is that the account is in a group called One Studio, a development group owned by FIERZAA. I don't know if this group was specifically made to work on k.a.t, but that isn't really relevant right now. What is important is that the account, OVVSLA, has a rank higher than just member. It holds the rank of Memebers and was the second account to ever be given this rank. This doesn't really mean too much, but it has to be worth something here. The second thing which confirms this account to be an alt of FIERZAA is that the avatar has a style which is consistent with what FIERZAA would use. The avatar also resembles the character Nico from One Shot. FIERZAA is familiar with this character and has even added it as an emoji on the official k.a.t Discord server. Maybe you still aren't fully convinced that this is an alt. Well, the biggest thing to confirm this would be what lies in the account's place. Simply titled OVVSLA's place, the default place name when you sign up, the game is not just the default map for a new account. The description reads "Get Out," and the game has under 10 visits. Out of the 5 visits the game currently has, 2 of them were from me and my friend who joined the game earlier this month while we were researching and exploring. This means that when we found it, the game only had 3 visits. Nobody knows about this secret game. So, what does the game look like? Well, it was last updated in May of 2017, just a few months after k.a.t was released, and when you join the game, it appears to be an exact copy of the game from its state after it was released. This confirms that the account is an alt of FIERZAA, since only she could be able to copy and paste the whole game onto another account like this. I played k.a.t in 2017, and maybe many of you have too, and this is pretty much exactly what I remember back then. They even have the old shop layout. And of course, there is no trading, since trading never existed at the time, but everything in the shop is free. This is really interesting, and it makes me wonder what is going on with k.a.t right now. FIERZAA is completely inactive on her main account, but her alts are active. She has also developed k.a.t content on her alts before, which is something big to consider here. There are only a few developers for k.a.t, and none of them have access to update the game from their accounts. This means that the update we saw back on the 3rd of August definitely came from one of her alt accounts, but which one? When me and my friend found the 2 accounts mentioned in this video, k.a.t had been updated just 3 days prior. At the time, the alts we discovered had been offline for at least 1 month each, confirming that those accounts were not used to publish the update. This means that there is another, secret alternate account out there that FIERZAA is using to develop k.a.t updates. I could not find this account, and it is probably for the best that we don't find it. FIERZAA's main account is completely fine, she has access to it, but she is choosing to develop on an alt. The accounts I mentioned in this video were not really secret. One was already known by a couple dozen people, and the other was relatively unknown, but it didn't take too much work to find it. They were hiding in plain sight the entire time, and as per her other account or accounts that she currently uses to develop the game, they are likely a complete secret and should stay that way. The best takeaway that you can get from this video is that FIERZAA is still developing, and probably even developing k.a.t, just not from her main account. Halloween and Christmas will be here within the next few months, and k.a.t usually does have updates centered around both events. For now, we will just have to wait and see what comes next. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more k.a.t content in the future. This video took me quite a while to make, and so any support is greatly appreciated. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think of the situation. Join my Discord server, follow my Twitter or X, I don't even know what we're calling it anymore, and thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!